morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Tuesday, 26th of January. Clock is right today. Except we're late. We're late because Bernie was on C-SPAN. And I didn't know. Janine didn't know, or maybe she knew, but Janine's off taking care of some very important stuff for Rhode Island right now. She's got to do the boots on the ground work. So I'm sitting here getting ready for the morning show, loading in the rundown, what we're going to talk about, and Bernie's on C-SPAN. Thank you for letting us know, Internet. Thank you, Celeste. Audio's good. Looks like we got 58 joining us already this morning. Hi, everybody. How you doing? This is the new, kinder, gentler newsroom, what it was supposed to be in the first place. The first 4 or 5 days, however many days that was, excuse me there, I don't know how many days we did in a row, but man, it was a scramble, and it was just very tense. And after yesterday's show, I needed to take a break, needed to reset, rethink about what we were doing here. And the purpose of this was to deliver the news, not to provide me with a place where I could rant and vent all of my violent thoughts about what we should do with these super criminals we have running around our world who have destroyed our planet, murdered millions, that still they get to do what they please. It really, really bothers me. It enrages me. And I know it enrages you guys. That's why you're here. Give me a second here to pull up the chat. I wanna see who's in the chat. Ah, hello, Simcat, Steph, Robin Morris. Let's tool some people. Why not? Let's have fun with that. Thank you all for joining me today. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about. You love my, I know, but you know what? Okay, thank you. You love my rants. However, I don't want to promote violence. I really did yesterday, and I apologize for that. Street justice, no matter how you look at it, ends up becoming violent, and I don't want to promote street justice. What I really am trying to get across to the federal government and to establishment politicians is that you're not doing your job. And at some point, the American people are going to do it for you. And that's what we want to avoid. We're trying to avoid that here. We are trying to work with the government to fix it before it gets really ugly. We don't want a revolution, guys. We want a political paradigm shift, a political revolution. And it's going to piss off a lot of really rich, greedy people. But those rich, greedy people are not doing us right. They are not taking care of this nation. And so I'm sorry. You're going to lose this battle. You're going to lose. This is going to be the first revolution in history that hopefully will be done with minimal bloodshed, because it's all about information. It's all about the truth. It's all about what's really going on in our government. And we've got a lot of stories about that today. Celeste is in the back with me, and I've got Lou here. How you doing there, Lou?
How's it going, John?
It's good. Good to have you.
Good morning.
It is
good morning.
Good.
Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Bernevers. Good morning, Revolution. And we're gonna figure out how to give you a little real news about what's really going on. Nice. Thank you, John.
Nice. Bernevers. I like that. That's a good term.
I personally prefer Sanders revolutionaries, but that's just me.
I've seen people. I gotta put it on you. There we go. There's Celeste is an iconic woman today. Where's my horn? Yeah, we're gonna talk about Snyder a little bit today. Yes, Ed. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm reading these things. Look, I know, Ed, you've said some things to me. Why am I getting echo? Is that coming out of you, Celeste? You got a little echo coming from me. That's okay. Anyway, hi, Celeste. We're going to talk Sandernistas. That's right. That's what I was looking for. That's the term. Brahm SL11 said that. Sandernistas, right? We are his group. Yes. Ed, Robin, many other people have voiced the same concerns about speaking violence, and that is why we're just going to stop. We're going to stop. I have some serious. I'm. You know, this is how I'm going to preface this. When they attack Bernie about his stance on guns, when they attack Bernie about what you have to do here, it's like a double-edged sword. And the Washington Post put out a poorly written article on Bernie's stance on gun control, basically not doing him any favors, trying to say, oh well, he's sort of true here, he's a Pinocchio here. I don't understand what the hell they were trying to do there. When you argue when you're discussing something like gun control in a country that has been indoctrinated into the insanity of wanting guns, it's a complex issue. The point I'm trying to get here is that it's a complex issue. You can't just say it's one way or another. You get guns or you don't get guns. Assault weapons are good or bad. It's not that simple. It's not. And yet politicians try to make it that simple. Well, you voted for this, and you voted for that, and they were bad. But packed into those things are all sorts of other stuffs. That's what makes legislation so annoying and difficult to do, is that they pack other things into the legislation. The Brady Bill, I always thought the Brady Bill was a good thing, but it does have stuff in it that's not right. That's the thing. It has stuff in it that's not right. Even Sanders' own stance on the one of the pieces of the gun law that he's in favor of, I am confused as hell about. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't even understand this. I need to read this more. Okay, when we're talking about laws that affect the nation in this way, they are complex. They require an education to understand. They require in-depth analysis of what's going on here to make the proper choice. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to take something like gun control and pack in subsidies and pack in a provision that says the military gets to something, or pack in something that says, oh, but this guy over here, this manufacturer over here gets to reap this benefit over here through this bullshittery here. And that's the kind of stuff that actually gets dumped into these laws that makes them stupid, that makes people like Bernie Sanders have to go, if I vote yes, it's the right thing. However, this little chunk in here is gonna come back. This little chunk in here is gonna come back and bite me in the ass because it's not good, but it's in the bill. What do I do? The bill is 70% good, 30% shit. What do you do? This, in a sense, they could say this is what it's all about. This is democracy, writing a bill, but you've got to remove the garbage that never should be put into the bill in the first place, that provides provisions for corporate enemies, corporate criminals, government criminals. That's the complexity. And the reason I'm talking about that, the whole reason I brought that up with the Sanders thing and the guns and last night's town hall meeting, which we'll discuss, is because I have conflicting feelings about justice. I have very conflicting feelings about what we should do with criminals like Snyder, with criminals like Dick Cheney, with criminals like Exxon. What do you do with these people? What do you do with a corporation full of executives that has knowingly destroyed the planet for 40 years, worked in collusion with our government to do so, and in collusion with mainstream media to do so? What do you do with all of those CEOs? I hold the CEOs of all those corporations, everybody involved, I hold them all accountable for lying to the American public. What do you do to them? How do we affect justice there? That's why I get so angry. That's why I get so enraged, is because I cannot think of what justice looks like for a group of individuals that have knowingly destroyed our planet simply to make money. It's like not even a worthy goal. If you're going to destroy a planet, do it for a better reason than cash. What a simple, small-minded goal, cash. I don't get it. So that's where my conflict comes in. And I'm just going to, I'm jail, expose them, jail the bankers. I don't want to pay for them to be in jail. That's the other problem. I don't want to put them in our system where my tax dollars are now going to pay these people to have better living conditions than millions of veterans. Right? I mean, let's take all these people out of, I mean, that's the big issue. What do you got to say on that, Lou? You got something. What's on your mind?
Wow. Actually, what you just said was pretty. I hadn't thought of that. Put them in jail, and I see a lot of that, and I'm right there with you. The Bernie Sanders revolution is a revolution of peace, but we got to figure out some big problems. But putting them in jail, and then saying, yeah, they're still getting it better than the 250,000 veterans out on the street last
Yep.
night.
Yep.
That's wow. I mean, so what? I mean, that is a question I think as people, as a country, we're gonna really have to look at. I mean, you think of Rick Snyder. I mean, you brought up Flint. You think of Rick Snyder. How many thousands of people did he poison? For
Right.
what?
Right.
When you think of Dow Chemical, how many thousands and thousands of people for cash? For something he can't even bring with him when he dies. It's going to turn into the same dust he is. For what? So what do we do with them? That's a good thought there, John. I just wow.
Yeah.
So,
You can't. I don't want them to. I don't want them to have the luxury of being in a prison. And I realize that's a there's a lot in that statement. I say luxury because for rich white men in government and in politics and in business, they don't go to where the 99 go to jail or prison. And I do know this. My 20s, I spent a lot of time in many of the Denver County jails. I never went to a big house, but I know damn well what it's like to be locked up in General Pop in a jail. And I know what it's like to be there for a while. And it sucks. And this is back in the late 80s, early 90s, folks. Okay, so today it's 10, 20, 30 times worse. We've seen the small stories they run on the news. Okay, the 99 are packed into these prison for profit houses, like they're slaughterhouses. They're prison schools. But somebody like Snyder is going to go to Club Fed. He's going to get a nice room with a view, access to the library and the gym. He's going to get special privileges. He'll never want for anything. I'm sure he'll have protection while he's in there. He won't need protection because he's going to be in with a bunch of other rich white folk, if he even goes to jail. And my tax dollars are going to pay for that comfy living, while a veteran sleeps in the gutter because assholes like this save themselves some cash and make corrupt deals and murder people. And that money could have gone to help vets. This is the problem with our justice system. This is why I get so angry, and I'm like, there is no. Why even bother with court?
but unfortunately, we gotta bother with court because that makes us part of the society. So we do gotta go through it. There were some comments on the feed, and a lot of them brought up a very good point. That is a Bernie point.
Yes.
Why are young men and women across this country going to jail over grass?
Well, yeah. Oh, that's
somebody like Rick Snyder throws out a little cash and he gets to save his. Okay. Why don't we start emptying the prisons of all these low level, low charge BS drug offenders, quote, and put the real criminals in the buildings that we already have. I mean, they're going to be there. If we're going to empty them out of the people that shouldn't be there, let's put the people that belong there. And then I saw another great comment. I want to say hi to Bad Wolf, saying these folks that poison and hurt the civilians and the public should have to go work in the public and see what they've done and have to help fix what they've done. Not just throw a little money at it.
Weren't you saying yesterday that that's what they did in Iceland? They threw the bankers in dumpsters and rolled them down the street to jail?
Yeah, they did. Everybody that they saw perpetrated fraud on the financial system there, they went up to their offices. It's a wonderful thing to watch. If you get bored at any time, folks, go search it out. They went up to their offices, grabbed them, drug them out, threw them in rollaway dumpsters, and you can see them just beating on the dumpsters.
Right.
Sadly, in our police state here, if you tried to do that to Governor Snyder, the people that are trying to grab him and put him in those dumpsters would be the one abused by the police state. When you're talking about the rule of law, we don't really have a rule of law because it doesn't function equally. Like you're talking about, you have people like Snyder in elected office, all the rest of the people in his administration who saw the paperwork, saw the studies, passed it off, and there's this this game of pass the buck and no accountability. And here again, it's what's really going on is 35, 40 years of this is what Republican America looks like, folks.
Yep.
Flint is just a small example of it, but it's all over the country.
Who's got the rap music? Who's playing tune?
That's Rage Against the Machine. That was my phone. I apologize.
Okay. Sorry about that, Celeste.
That's all right. I was done making my point.
Hi, wife. Lou's live.
Yeah. And she's normally not calling now.
Turn that off or can you mute that?
Live broadcasting, folks. Pretend it's the 1950s, only in terms of broadcasting.
No, let's not. I'm sorry. I know you say that a lot, but it's so not even close. Please don't pretend this is 1950s. That puts women back so far. Please.
Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't even be on the air right now. So.
I'd be working for Perry Mason.
There you go. We're gonna talk about a few things. This is the breaking news, guys. We're gonna stop talking about corruption and everything. I gotta leave it right now because it's gonna start getting me pissed. We're gonna break it. We'll talk more about Flint and the water crisis, but this is breaking news right now, and this actually makes me really happy. This is good news. Okay. This is really good news. I didn't even know you could do this. This is, I didn't think anybody in Congress or government would care to do this. I like this. So Bernie Sanders, along with somebody else, I don't know who the other person was who initially did the charge, but this is an example of corruption in our government. What we're talking about here is the FDA nominee that Obama picked, which is akin to basically wanting to put an arsonist as your fire chief. Okay, this is like let's find an arsonist, somebody we've known for a long time. Somebody we're absolutely certain is an arsonist, and let's make them the chief of fire for our entire nation. Because that's exactly what you do when you take a guy like this guy with all his ties to the pharmaceutical industry. I don't even know what his name is. I got to pull him up here. What is his name here? I'm gonna read I'm gonna center this and read this quote here. This little clip here, and this is from the Hill. So Senator Bernie Sanders is formally blocking President Obama's pick to lead the Food and Drug Administration after announcing his opposition late last year. This is the guy, Dr. Robert Califf's extensive ties to the pharmaceutical industry give me no reason to believe that he would make the FDA work for ordinary Americans, rather than just the CEOs of pharmaceutical companies. Sanders, who is running for the Democratic, blah, blah, blah. I mean, duh. Really, Obama? Do you think we are that stupid? And actually, we don't even have to be stupid, because prior to this year, prior to Bernie Sanders, the American public wouldn't have given a shit who the hell took over the FDA. Most of them wouldn't even know. Most of them wouldn't even know right now. Prior to Bernie Sanders being a nominee or being running for president, nobody would give a shit, really, about who they put in this office or who they put in the EPA. But it is criminal. It is so blatantly corrupt. It is laughable. Hi, I'm President Obama, and I'm going to pick this arsonist to be the next national fire chief. Any problems? Any questions? You don't have any. He's got a great record with fire. He really does. Just not in the way we want it to be, right? This is cronyism. This is a corrupt government when you take a person like this and give them this job. Didn't the Monsanto guy just become the EPA thing and nobody stopped that one, right? Isn't that the new appointee? We have an ex-Monsanto CEO or executive who is the EPA guy. That's the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Somebody fact-checked me on that. I don't know if he was nominated or just is or just slid in there. But this is what happens. If you look at all of the people, and Bernie Sanders has pointed this out. Bernie Sanders has called this out, right? You don't take a corrupt banker and make him your Secretary of Treasury. You don't take a pharmaceutical asshole and make them the FDA CEO. You don't take a person who's screwed the environment and make them in charge of the EPA. You don't put your criminals in charge of the things that you're supposed to have caring for your nation. These are criminals. They belong in jail that I don't have to fucking pay for. It's where they belong.
And you don't put somebody in charge of the FDA who has no problem giving OxyContin to 11-year-old kids.
There you go.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. This guy has no problem. Let's be honest, folks. The war on drugs on one side, and the FDA saying it's okay to give opiates to children on the other. It's feeding it back and forth. And that's part of the reason that Senator Sanders and a lot of other senators are standing against this man. He is obviously the wrong choice to lead the FDA.
Yes. So yes. And I just saw a great comment come through here. It's like Arizona putting the woman who believes in creationism and that the earth is 10,000 years old in charge of education. Yes, exactly. There shouldn't. Here's the thing. There should be no one in our government who does not fully believe or understand basic science. If you don't fully believe in, and you don't have to believe in science, I'm sorry, recognize that science is fact. Science is fact. Your beliefs, science doesn't give a shit about your beliefs. I have a shirt that says that. I'm not wearing it this morning. I was going to wear it. I have a shirt that says that. And if I'm offensive to those who believe, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Because your beliefs have no place in my government. Your beliefs have no place in how we run this country. Your beliefs should not be the foundation of how we decide environmental policy, how we decide technology, how we decide anything. You can do what you please with your beliefs. Go jump off a cliff. Go praise whoever the hell you want. Don't care what it is. I personally believe in a great spaghetti monster in the sky. But do not tell me that your beliefs are your science. Your beliefs are your knowledge, because they are not. Belief is belief. Period. The end. Science is fact. And my government, my intelligent government of the 21st century, not my Middle Ages backwards government, my smart, intelligent government made of the people of the 21st century, should be based on science, fact. Fact. We need to get out of this ancient, archaic, religious-based, weird. I would prefer that my officials not believe in an entity. I would prefer that my government officials not praise anybody. I would prefer that they are free-thinking individuals who put science and fact before their personal beliefs that have absolutely no place anywhere in our frickin' government anywhere. But they are infused in our money, in our policies. They weren't infused in the beginning. They tried to make that clear, but then MSM has screwed that up for us. And I apologize to anybody out there who's saying it, but look, I was indoctrinated Catholic as a young guy, and it took me a long time to get that shit out of my head. No offense to practicing Catholics, okay? But for me personally, I'm a lot better without it, and we don't need it in our government. Do what you please with it elsewhere, and let's start taxing the churches, for fuck's sake. Let's start taxing the churches. You want to find some more money for this country? Churches get away with murder. Catholic Church got away with murder, rape, child rape, hiding Nazi gold, doing all sorts of fun stuff. We're not going to go on the history of it. We're not going to go there. I can't go there. We're going to talk just a little bit really quick about freedom of speech. And then we're going to get into some other stories. Look, you guys are doing wonderful here. Thank you so much for helping me with this petition. I have no idea how many signatures it's going to take to get YouTube to actually have some integrity as an organization, pay some attention to what's going on with this. The comments, though, that you guys are leaving are fantastic, and I just want to read some of them here. This is so beautiful. Free.Bernie2016.tv. Free.Bernie2016.tv. Only $19.95. Just kidding. It just sounded like a sale. No, this is the link to go shut this down, to go hopefully get YouTube to talk to us. Okay. I love this. Patrick Fox. Stop, and stop. Stop trying to control and censor. I want to know what is going on, and I am angry when people try to control what I want to get when I went to get info from Bernie's Grassroots channel. We are Bernie's Grassroots channel. I did see somebody else send me a statement today in an email that, and I want to clear this up really fast. Somebody sent me an email and said they sent an email to the Sanders campaign asking why there were 2 channels. We are not the Sanders channel, folks. There is no way the stuff that comes out of my mouth would ever be on the Sanders channel. Okay? We are not attached to the Sanders campaign. We have nothing to do with them in the broadcast sense, in this sense, and what we're pushing out here. We take their stream, we put it out, we put our own information before and after that. We coordinate with grassroots efforts because everybody coordinates with the grassroots efforts, right? But we are not an official anything. Please, 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 please don't think that our name is Bernie2016.tv and we have a really goofy logo to hopefully make you realize that we are not attached to the official campaign, and we cannot be, because mainstream media could use that against Bernie. And that is another reason why I am putting myself in check, so that I do not say anything that could potentially be used against the campaign. I'm thinking about pulling down the old newsrooms simply because I'm not pleased with them. I don't like what came out of my mouth, and it's dangerous for the campaign. We are functioning right now, folks, in a society that is really no different from early 30s Nazi Germany. Early 30s Nazi Germany, Hitler was popular, fascism was on the rise, things were still great. The whole let's murder Jews thing hadn't quite gone into full swing yet. And believe it or not, there were a lot of people in America, scientists around the world, prominent American scientists, political figures, who were right there with Germany on the whole eugenics thing. That's a whole other discussion. But my point is, right now, today, we are faced with that same thing. The government could come here with some cars and tell me that I am acting as a terrorist, or that I have said something that is treasonous, or I've threatened somebody in some way. Haul this equipment off, haul me off, and end us now. That could happen. We are living in a state, a government that could and would do something like that. So this petition and your responses mean a lot, because we need to do something about this. YouTube is practicing censorship. YouTube is working in collusion. They are the establishment. They are mainstream media. They are mainstream media for the internet. They are the outlet for mainstream media for the internet. They protect their mainstream media partners, their corporately owned media partners. They protect their business partners, because Google and YouTube make big bucks off that. So they shut down channels indiscriminately. They don't provide reasoning. They do what they please. We are fighting this, folks. This is what we are fighting. I have politicalrevolution.tv, Fred, actually. And yes, I want to do a combo Mr. Rogers, Will McAvoy show, Liberal Patriot. That is something I'd love to do. Morning, boys and girls. We're going to put on our tennis shoes today. Celeste, do you remember Mr. Rogers? Oh,
Are you trying to get me to acknowledge my age again, John? Yes, I remember Mr. Rogers. I loved Mr. Rogers.
We all love Mr. Rogers.
Fantastic time with Mr. Rogers' little miniatures. I used to go to the hobby store and get little miniature train stuff, and I had my own little miniature village that I built. Sans the train, of course, because the train stuff was expensive, but I developed a love for miniatures from Mr. Rogers, as a matter of fact.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was a big fan of Mr. Rogers, too. Great guy. But he was a liberal. He was a great guy, believed in education, and he was not the mild-mannered guy. If you go look up some of the history, he was actually pretty cool. Just a reminder, some of the things we were going to cover at the beginning of the show. Just a reminder, everybody, that Exxon knew 40 years ago that the planet and what they were doing to it was dying. Exxon knew 40 years ago today, yesterday, tomorrow, that they were destroying our planet. The CEO criminals of Exxon, since they've known in 1977, have not been tried for any crimes. Our government continues to not only work with them, but provide them with tax breaks. Our tax money goes to Exxon, a group of super criminals who have knowingly destroyed our planet in collusion with mainstream media and our government. To date, we have not done anything. We have not pressed charges. We have not investigated. We have not done anything. The data that Exxon collected in 1977, the data that Al Gore has been collecting all his life, or since the early 60s when he started looking at global warming, the data that scientists believe in around the world, scientists know as a fact that climate change is real, that all of this damage has been done, that it's irreversible at this point, that we are out of time, folks. We needed to stop using the cars 20 years ago. I don't know why they're not facing whatever justice needs to be faced. I don't understand. There is no difference between Exxon and Nazi Germany. There is no difference between the CEO of Exxon and Adolf Hitler. There is no difference between all of the executives of not only Exxon, but mainstream media at the time, and the government officials that continue to perpetuate this. There's no reason why they should not be considered war criminals equal to the war criminals of Nazi Germany, and why they shouldn't be tried as such immediately and dealt with. This is what happens when you live in a corrupt government. This is what happens when you are subject to the establishment state, the oligarchy. There you go. You wanted me to start using that word, Celeste. The oligarchy, which is what it is. This is what happens when the people have no control. Exxon has been murdering our planet for 40 years, folks. And now on to more recent things that are not centered. Last night was the presidential forum. I keep calling it a debate. I don't know why. This was thrown in last minute. This was thrown in last minute by Debbie Wasserman Schultz because she was under pressure to do so. And it's really funny because the stuff I was reading on the web about it prior to the event suggested that the Hillary camp was excited at another opportunity for Hillary to really shine. And the Bernie camp and everybody else with half a brain was going, Bernie's going to wipe the floor. This is exactly the kind of forum he excels in. Regardless of the fact that CNN, like, they scripted the entire thing for Hillary. It was just a beautiful, easy night for Hillary. And Bernie got all the, this was the beautiful thing about this event, guys, is that Bernie has been under trial by fire from the beginning. Well, first he was ignored. First he was ignored, and then when he was brought into the melee, when he was brought into combat with the rest and acknowledged and allowed to go fight in the Coliseum of politics against the big Hildebeest, right? We saw them do everything they could to discount him, everything they could to throw questions at him that he could not answer. They gave Hillary an easy slide. Last night was ridiculous. And I've got the proof of it. The beautiful thing is that basically what they have done is vetted our candidate better than we ever could. Right? If you want to know who can be a leader, look at how Bernie has been scrutinized by the media. No stone unturned. Let's make sure we show how Hillary is mostly right on these things and Bernie is sort of wrong on these things. How can we spin? How much can we spin reality in Hillary's favor? How much can we attack Bernie Sanders? How much can we scrutinize Bernie, and how little can we scrutinize Hillary? So, American people, if you want to know who the best president is, look at the person they have attacked the most. Look at the person that has survived. Right? Bernie has survived. And the worst they can do is go, well, he's a little wishy-washy on the gun thing. I mean, no matter what they throw at this guy, we'll go find the truth, or we look at Bernie and go, I'm sorry, there's even an attack ad we're going to run later, an attack ad that was run, just new, that was run by some Republican super PAC, an attack ad against Bernie that actually I think we should just run. I think the campaign should pick it up and say thank you and push it out, because for me it just makes me want to vote for him more. You know? But this we're going to look at, and just here, you're going to look at this for a second, and then I'm going to pull up what I really want to pull up in here. Well, maybe not. Here, look at Lou for a second. What do you have to say about all this shit, Lou?
Put me on the spot there, John.
I'm going
Actually,
to.
if you're pulling up I think you're talking about the article of Meet the New Bernie Sanders. Um,
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh,
We're gonna do
yeah.
We're gonna do CNN's reality fact check on the debate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this. A lot of folks will say, and you were talking about wishy-washy, and yeah, if you want to give that one, but I think the major attack now, and I think it's kind of a sad statement on how how we've come, is that all of his ideas are quote unquote unrealistic. They're idealistic. They can't happen. They won't happen. They'll never get done. And again, I said this last night, and I'm saying it again this morning. When did our country go from being a country of, oh, we only shoot for what we can do? We shoot for the low-hanging fruit. No, as you so eloquently put, we went to the moon on, what'd you say, 16 megabytes?
Yes,
I'm not a very
no,
good
16K kilobytes,
16K
my friend. 16
kilobytes.
kilobytes.
I mean, think about that, folks. And the attacks and the questions about our candidate and his campaign, his ideas, his proposals, his written in black and white bills on the Senate floor, is that it cannot be done.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's American, not American't. And I really find that to just be hilarious, that this really is the question coming at Bernie Sanders and his campaign and our choice for the next president of the United States of America, leading us forward.
Agreed.
Somebody
Agreed.
wants
Here's the vetting done by CNN's reality check team. What I found interesting about this vetting is that they really took the time to dig into Bernie Sanders here, and not a lot of time to dig into Hillary or O'Malley. Probably better to look at the slides. Let's go to. We're going to look at some of the tweets as well. There were some great tweets from that. Here's the first CNN reality fact check on Sanders' universal health care. The bottom line on this, folks, is the World Health Organization issued a report in 2014 saying the U.S. is currently the only high-income country without nearly universal health care coverage. As we determined in December based on the WHO report, our verdict is this is true. Well, honestly, I don't really need you to verify this fact for me, CNN. We can go to the internet and we can talk to people in other countries and we can look at the consensus and go, yep, our country's healthcare blows. It's blown for a long time because our government is corrupt and run by greedy people who want to put people who work for pharmaceutical companies in a damn FDA, or people who are great friends with pharmaceutical companies. This is why our government doesn't run with integrity. That is really the bottom line. Our government lacks integrity because our government functions on the basis of profit before people, and there's no integrity in that at all. And that includes you, Obama. That really includes you. I apologize. I have such hope for you. Here's one that I'm so glad. Thank you, CNN, for taking the time to make sure that Bernie Sanders is a good athlete, because God knows we wouldn't want a non-good athlete in the White House. What the fuck? Who gives a shit, people? Who gives a shit? CNN does. Did they fact check Hillary's hair? Is that her natural hair color? Is she all gray by now? Did she have implants? Is she using a natural hairspray, or is it something with crap in it? Why didn't we scrutinize that? What about Hillary's health? Can she walk up 2 flights of stairs without getting breathy? Just out of curiosity.
Let alone.
What? Go on.
Oh, I was going to jump in on that one because, let alone, it's almost classless that is considered media and is considered news and is considered a proper question at a debate at, a town hall, when it just reeked of the Correct the Record attack of no more than 2 weeks ago of Bernie Sanders' health. It was like, exactly, are we talking about other folks' health? Are we talking about, for all intents and purposes, we've had a president in a wheelchair And he still did the job correctly. So what are we discussing here? If the sound mind and the body is still living and the guy could talk and knows what's going on, what is the problem?
Yep.
Nobody says that. They just infer. I mean, Cuomo going so far as to say that he's 75, not 74.
Well, whatever. You know what?
Yeah.
I mean, they had no problem with Reagan in office with dementia, right? But that was Ronnie Reagan. He was a great guy. Yeah, it's a baseless attack. There's no reason to even fact check it. They basically attack Bernie Sanders on it with a fact check. Right? Here's the next one, and this one's actually about wealth inequality, and it was so long-winded that I only copied the bottom half. But the bottom line is what Bernie Sanders says about wealth inequality is true. Again, something we don't really need fact check. Go walk out on the street. Go down your local. Just go down the street. Go look at the poverty. It's everywhere. The wealth inequality is everywhere. The 99 are victims of it. You don't need to tell us. The only people that are unaware or don't give a shit are the 1%. So maybe you should show this fact check information to the Hillary camp. She could probably use it. Sanders on pay inequality for women. Well, they're calling it mostly. I don't even understand what they're saying mostly true here. You know what the point is? Women don't get equal pay. There's no reason to fact check this. Whatever Bernie Sanders says about it, his point is that it should be equal. I just, again, CNN, how about some news? I don't even understand what the fuck the point is of it mostly true. The point is that women are not paid equally. They're not treated equally. There's no reason to argue bits and pieces of that. Just write the goddamn legislation that makes them equal. They should be equal, and fine and deal with the companies that don't treat them equally. It's very, very, very simple. There's no reason to fact check this shit. This one pisses me off. Led the opposition to the war, to the Iraq war. Okay, and when you read through this, it's ridiculous. They're basically saying that, and I think I dropped this into 2 slides. Let me see this one. I think I did. Here's the bottom half. So notice at the bottom it says mostly true. So what they're saying is that while perhaps not at the level of Feingold or Kennedy, Sanders spoke out against it during a time when opposition to the war in Iraq was rare. For example, then New York Senator Hillary Clinton voted yes on the Iraq war resolution, as Sanders often notes. We rate his claim that he helped lead the opposition mostly true. I don't know why you would need to fact check this, and giving it a title of mostly true makes it sound like he's lying. We're dealing with a general statement. He was one of the very, very few people with enough brains and integrity and honor to realize that going to war was a crock of shit and simply a way to make money. Hillary Clinton worked with the establishment, knowingly, understandingly that what they were doing was about to turn themselves into some really rich folks for the next 8 years based on the blood of American children and the blood of children around the world. Hillary, the bottom line on this, Hillary voted for a war that was the biggest goddamn mistake in the last decade, last 20 years, other than electing Bush twice. There's no mostly true here. Bernie Sanders was one of the few, very few people. I think it was Bernie Sanders, Ted Kennedy, Feingold, and the Dixie Chicks. That was it. Those were the people that were opposed to the Iraq war. Oh, and me, and a lot of freaking other 99 who were being fed misleading information. It was so obvious to me back then that this was a war for bullshit. But my God, if you said that, you were an don't go saying that shit. This is ridiculous, CNN. This is ridiculous that you would even say this. The point is, Hillary made a bad choice. She voted with everybody else. She didn't have the integrity, the courage, the honor to say, you know what? This is wrong. I'm against this. She just said, how do you want me to vote today? How do you want me to vote today? That's how I should vote. What is the establishment doing today? Going to war? Wonderful. What's my kickback? What do I make out of it? Vote for war today, presidential choice tomorrow? You got it.
Hey,
I'm your
John,
girl. Yes.
that's because there's no profit in peace. You
No.
can't sell weapons if you have peace. Peace just is not something that you can make money off of.
Right. Right. You can't. You can't. Sorry, as I was trying to. Yeah, you can't. There's Celeste, everybody. While you watch me move around. Yeah, she's absolutely right. This is about profit from war here, folks. It's been about profit from war for decades, for a long, long, long time. I really, really suggest you watch the history, the untold history of America. I think that's what it's called. It's Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone's History of the United States of America. Look that up. See if you can find it. I'd really like to do a broadcast, an engagement broadcast of it, if we can get in touch with them.
You can actually find that series, John. You can find it on YouTube. You have to do a little bit of hunting, but you can get all of the parts of that series are available on YouTube.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. I wasn't aware of that. That's really cool. So, what's starting at 11? Something's starting. Oh, I chat with somebody at 11. Well, sorry. That was a lot there. Just that really made me mad. I think I wanted to tell you this. I was just going to scroll down through this. The things they fact checked on after Bernie, right? The Iraq War. They did Martin O'Malley defends his criminal justice stuff, and they called him true. That's one. That's what they did. One on Martin O'Malley. Hillary Clinton on American prosperity. This is hilarious. See if I can pull this up. I didn't do a card for this. I was laughing too hard. This one is Hillary Clinton on American prosperity under Bill Clinton. My first question, not relevant. My second, this question statement, not relevant. My question, who gives a fuck? But I don't even understand this. So we're fact checking that things were good under Bill, and somehow Hillary gets points for that? I don't understand. What does that mean? That when you're in office, to make sure things are going to go well, Bill's going to be there too, and he's going to help set policy?
It's part of right. It's part of the sales job, John. It's
Right.
remember how things were prosperous under the Clinton administration. Well, let's get this dynasty going. Let's get this family back in office so we can go back to those good days where lots and lots of minimum wage jobs were being created for the machine.
I don't even get that. And here's the other one they did on Hillary. So the two fact checks they did on Hillary Clinton, right? How well did her hubby do back in his day? And this one, Clinton on her role pushing sanctions on Iran. Who gives a shit? Okay, it's mostly true. She helped push through sanctions. I don't care. I don't really care. Again, you could have done her hair and it would have been as important to me there. And the reason I wanted to cover all those is this is how much Bernie is being scrutinized for ridiculous things, for important things too, but this is our candidate being vetted very hard, right? And unfairly. So if you really, those of you who are voting for Hillary or still thinking about voting for Hillary, just take a look at how much fire Bernie Sanders has been under and the fact that he still comes out as the best candidate. And they're doing everything they can to make Hillary look better, and it's failing every single day. And now, Lou, we're going to go to the article that you were talking about, and we're going to look at you while we do it.
Okay, that's cool. Actually, I want to jump in on both of those little fact checks on Hill.
Wonderful.
First off, I find it really funny that much like a lot of the positions that come from that team, it's where you're at and what you say. On some days, of course, Bill is going to be part of the conversation on everything in the country. And then on other days, well, Bill might just have a conversation with me over the dinner table. And then on other days, it's no, he's going to have no part in this. It just depends on the audience and where they're at on if this is going to be a continuation, not of the Obama presidency, which she seems to want to talk about, or is it going to be a part of the continuation of the Clinton kingdom? Which one? Again, that's just a flip-flop that I thought of. And then the other thing is I find it interesting that, yes, she pushed sanctions on Iran, but at the same time that President Obama is trying to work out a peace deal and get a peace deal done, she's also trying to push through sanctions, at the UN level. So again, you talk about that you love his judgment, but then you kind of circumvent it at the same time and think that most Americans won't or don't see what's going on. That you, for lack of better terms, talk out both sides of your mouth, where we have a candidate that we are choosing that has stood consistently in his views for decades. And you can look him up, and nowadays I like to say the internet and video doesn't lie. And you can go see that he has stood for the same things and argued the same things for so long versus the inconsistencies is what I'll say on that.
Agreed. All right, so I'm reading some interesting comments, and unfortunately, while you talked about all that, I can't find the one article I wanted to show. If you can look for the link, I can't find the link anymore. I must not have put it in the rundown. It was a link that was actually a positive article on Bernie, it basically, I don't know what the hell to do with it. Basically, what it said, folks, was Bernie is winning here, and he's got the force of 99 versus Hillary's robots, or Hillary's roboticness, and she came out very robotic on the town hall last night, and I lost the article, Lou. I totally lost it. I can't find it, and mainly because I was looking at chat and I saw something that Celeste said, and oh, here we go. Right here. Meet the new Bernie Sanders. He's now a real candidate against Clinton's robot. Lucia Graves from The Guardian. This was The Guardian. Okay, here it is. Let me pull this up and show this to you guys. And then we'll talk about the chat, because I just want to make sure we're clear on some things. There's a quote in here that I thought was kind of cool. So here's, meet the new Bernie Sanders. He's now a real candidate against Clinton's robot. Forget the poll leads. This socialist has a story to tell, and jokes. The latest debate showed that one day at a time, the Sanders revolution is increasingly for real. It's very much for real, folks. Where's the great quote? All right, I will find it. I will find it later. But what's great about this is it's actually positive press on Bernie Sanders, which we're finding rare. Rare. It's hard to find somebody that's not attacking Bernie. But this is The Guardian, so that's pretty cool. And what's great about it is they basically say what we see, what we know. That Bernie is speaking to the people. It's really hard to beat the truth. And Hillary is trying to say what she thinks is going to work. At least that's how it comes across to me. And I saw the discussion about the Fed questions last night, right? And apparently the one kid, he did write that question for all three candidates, and they told him specifically, you will be asking your question to Hillary Clinton. Okay, so that's whatever. But the other thing that they were saying there was that one of the undecided individuals under Bernie, I think it was one of the undecided girls, was actually worked for Hillary. She admitted that this morning on some show. They were just talking about that in that undecided voter woman was on CNN this morning, and surprise, she works for Hillary in Dallas. You know what, though? I bet after last night she's rethinking that. I don't know what she actually said on the show, but I bet in her head she's like, I don't want to be working for Hillary. I'm getting paid, but I don't want to be working for Hillary. She promised me a position here, there, somewhere, but I really don't want to be working for Hillary. All you people that have been promised positions here and there and everywhere by the Hillary campaign, if you vote for Hillary, that's corruption in politics. It really is. And you're just part of the establishment problem. And I wish you'd think about it. I wish you'd have respect. Then I guess we're having an issue with bad language, with people not liking the language here, and I don't know what was said to be offensive, but I will say this. I go back and forth on that. We're actually using a lot less bad language than we would. And my point to that is really has to do with why I will continue to say bad words, cuss words, whatever the fuck I want, honestly, is because this is about freedom of speech. I'm not making six figures to report the news to you. Actually, I'm not an MSM, so I'm not going to be bound by any of their rules or any of their bullshit. All right. If you want raw news from me, you're going to get raw news from me with how I feel about it, and that includes words that I think the FCC should allow on air. This isn't the 1800s. All right. Your children hear the F word all the time, and if you spoke with them about it and they understood what it meant, you wouldn't have a problem with it. Words are words. All right. I don't want to get into a debate about cussing and all that stuff. I'm just going to say that on this show, people are allowed to be who they are. There's no corporately owned anything coming after us saying we can't say fuck you, saying we can't say shit. I'm going to not be violent because violence doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do anybody else any good. And we're trying to really win this revolution without violence. We're trying to win this revolution with information, but I am not going to comply with FCC 1800s mentality thinking on how I can report the news. And so I apologize to anybody that's offended, but I don't. I'm sorry. Don't. Whatever. You know, this is what we're going to do here. The day that the nonprofit can get funded and we can create all that stuff and we have other anchors, it won't be me sitting here. I might still do my show, but it's going to be my thing. We'll put other people on those desks and they can do the job different. But right now, this is what we get. So thank you all for being here. I didn't see a massive drop in people who said that. Lou, Celeste, what else is going on out there? Anything? I'm going to put you on camera, Lou, so I can switch to this real quick.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in there. Just to let everybody know, if you had heard anything about an active shooter situation taking place in San Diego, it is apparently been discovered that there is no active shooter. So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of that on corporate media, but I want to help you save your time. I was kind of monitoring that situation during the course of our broadcast when it first came up, and they've just had San Diego naval authorities come up and do a little bit of press conference, and they said they have not been able to find any indication that there was a shooter on that Naval Medical Center campus.
There you go. That's a good thing, folks. No shooter today, at least not there. Happens way too frequent in this country, but yeah, no shooter today. Let's move on to some other stories really quickly, unless there's things going on in chat that I should address. Celeste, put Celeste on camera because fuck this shit. I did put her on camera. Okay. Anyway.
No, they want to see my sign. They want to see my sign.
Oh. Well, you could duck.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, wait. I've got another one. As well.
Well, we're gonna while you're getting that, folks, we're gonna talk about this. Just a couple things on Hillary. The FBI is ready to indict Hillary here because the email stuff really is. Oh, here we go. Here's a sign from Celeste. Not only question authority, challenge authority. Demand that authority do more than whatever the hell they want. Question authority, folks. It's what we're doing right here today. That's what makes democracy function. Is not accepting what authority says, but questioning what the hell they're doing all the time. Because fuck this shit. There you go, right there. That's a screen grab. That's a screen grab. Beautiful. All right. So this is the article here. So the FBI is ready to indict Hillary on emails because they're discovering more and more about the fact that there's some bad stuff in there, and she definitely pushed out things that were above top secret. And I don't even want to get into details. Do you really want to elect this person to office? That's the question. That's really what it comes down to. And if that doesn't help you, how about, well, national piece of shit Rahm Emanuel raised money for Hillary Clinton. Another reason to vote for Bernie Sanders. Good article here by our friend H.A. Goodman. And if you give me 1 second here. Lou, do you want to speak to this at all? Do you want to talk about this at all? I mean, anybody want to speak to this? If not, I'm going to put Celeste on just so we can look at the icon for a second. Because what I want to do here is scroll down.
Yeah, sorry, John, I was muted on that. Actually, I haven't got through the H.A. Goodman article. I was just going to kick back to the Guardian article that you brought up with Lucia Graves, which I really thought was a good look at what happened last night on live TV, and we discussed it yesterday. The public asked what were our thoughts on what was going to happen or how Bernie was going to look last night at the town hall, and to see a wonderful reporter write up that, quite frankly, Bernie got up and he showed that not only is the energy from the youth that get around him, but he has it himself. Talking to thousands of people, and he says here he's got himself a brand new bag of trail learn tricks. That he's been out on the road and is obviously involves wearing his Brooklyn heart and being more personable out there on that jacket sleeve that he's lost a couple of those, as we saw. And he had a joke even for that last night, saying, my wife told me to button my coat, but I think I'm too fat for that. So he just sat down. I was like, hey, we're dealing with either a regular guy, a regular person, or we're dealing with that's looking more and more electable, or somebody that I won't say definitely will be in jail, but there's a possibility. And if folks want to talk about Sanders and his health and his ideas, and that ruining his electability, what do you think is going to happen if there really is just an investigation?
Yep.
What's going to happen?
Well, and they're going to be investigating Rahm Emanuel deeper too. So this is the piece from the HuffPost article by H.A. Goodman that I just want to read a little bit of. You guys can all read this. I would take this, grab this as a screen grab, push this out, make sure everybody reads this. There's an amazing and courageous analysis of the Laquan McDonald shooting from Tim Black on Tim Black TV. I've never heard of this. I got to check out Tim Black TV, where the culpability of Rahm Emanuel and others involved in the potential cover-up is analyzed. Yvette Carnell also addresses the aftermath of McDonald's death, stating that this tragedy is about Chicago's corrupt officials, as well as officers who seek to protect their own at the expense of the citizens they're sworn to protect. This happens all over the world, folks. This happens everywhere, all over the world, a lot in right here in the United States of America. Dr. Boyce Watkins believes the police video was tampered with in order to cover up a murder, and Benjamin Dixon explains that Rahm Emanuel was involved in suppressing the police dash cam video. Rahm Emanuel was involved in suppressing the police dash cam video. Rahm Emanuel helped Hillary Clinton, is helping Hillary Clinton. At this point, any presidential candidate linked politically to Rahm Emanuel, as well as prison lobbyists, is not a good Democratic candidate. In 2016, voters have two choices for Democratic nomination. Rahm Emanuel endorsed Hillary Clinton for president. In contrast, Dr. Cornel West, Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, and rap artist Killer Mike have endorsed and are currently campaigning for a Bernie Sanders presidency. The choice is clear. Thank you very much, H.A. Goodman. The choice is absolutely freaking clear. And let's add Franz Whitfield to that list. And let's add Gail Finney to that list, and Tom Fegan, and Gary Kroger, and Tim Canova, and everybody we're going to have on We the People, and have had on We People. I don't understand how you could vote for Hillary at this point. She's dirty. The establishment dirt is coming out. We can see it. We see the ties, the connection to the corruption. Rahm Emanuel is going to go down. He better go down. Rahm Emanuel is just another example, another corrupt politician. He's no different than Snyder. He's no different than what's his name, Governor Rick Jerkoff in Florida. He's no different. They're all this group. We have let our government at state, local, and federal levels become infiltrated with just worthless establishment, greedy people. And just like any infestation, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get this nasty infestation out of our government. But we've got Bernie Sanders to help us do it. Lou, you got any feelings or thoughts on that shit? Well, I move to the next slide.
Yeah, government's corrupt. I mean, I think that's I think Bernie speaks to that. Bernie's honest about that because I think we're talking to a lot of folks that actually do know that. And that's why we've decided no longer to vote. I mean, that's why people have just checked out of the process, because it doesn't really mean anything if everybody's bought and sold. And I think that's where you're seeing Bernie Sanders rising with just the common, the common man, because he's not. I mean, when I think about it, and I talk to folks, I say, to be honest, folks, his house is worth no more than mine, or no more than yours, or no more than. And now they try to pin this that he's establishment. Well,
Yep.
show me another establishment candidate that's not a millionaire after being in the Senate for so long. Bernie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a question on that. And then you go to the sell for Snyder. Sell for Rahm Emanuel. What these folks do, and obviously Rahm Emanuel, long-time Clinton guy, raising money for all summer. And then all of a sudden, and this is indicative of the Clinton campaign as well, as soon as he's in trouble, they disappeared. And no, we only dealt with him back then. I think that's where a lot of establishment people are actually scared, is that they are scared that if you have anything with Clinton, and they should just wake up and say, forget that, go with the people, go with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and they're saying the same thing. Cynical girl saying they're all pissing themselves with worry that Bernie will win and will go expose all the corruption, all the money, and even POTUS, who is obviously part of the hideous machine. Yeah, he is part of the hideous machine. It's really sad.
Well, the irony.
What?
Sorry, John. I'm going to jump in. The irony too is Donald Trump, for all his vile, hideous everything about that man, he too though is exposing the completely corrupt nature of that system, but that's not really being covered when they cover him. They ignore that and they go for the clown car fascist aspect and the racist comments that he makes, the shit that he stirs up. Talking about the establishment crap, part of the forum last night when Cuomo was grilling Bernie was how he kept using the punish. I don't know if you all remember that particular piece of Bernie's portion of the forum, but it's like Cuomo's part of the 1%. Bernie's not trying to punish the 1%. They deserve to be punished. First off, they're not being punished. They're asked to pitch in and pay their fair share.
Right.
And to stop stealing from the rest of us, which is what they've been doing for 35 years. It's
not punishment. It's not punishment, folks. It's right now the terms are unequal. So when is that who that was? Cuomo? Who was asking the questions? I don't even know who was asking the questions last night to Bernie.
Yeah, Chris Cuomo, who is Mario Cuomo's son, former governor. Right. Yeah. He's part of the 1%.
He is. He's part of the one. Are you gonna make me pay taxes? I'm rich. You're gonna make me pay. Don't make me pay taxes. Yes, but you're gonna pay your fucking taxes like everybody else, asshole. I don't understand what is so difficult to understand about that. You guys, the 1% has had it easy. They have made shit tons of money off your blood, off your work, They have paid you shit to do it. They've kept too much of the money. Our government has allowed them not to pay taxes. This is when they say, well, you're going to stifle Wall Street investments. No, we're going to put it under control, Chris. Wall Street shouldn't be allowed to run around and do whatever the fuck it wants and then screw our country and then ask for a bailout and then fuck us more. So when they say, are you going to raise taxes? Yes, you bet we are, on rich people who are not paying their fair share of taxes. I don't care if you make $1 billion, you're not going to pay no tax. You get to pay. Imagine the money we would have if rich people paid their fucking share of taxes. Imagine the money we have if churches had to pay their share of fucking taxes. I don't know why churches get to skate in this country. Screw you. Pay your taxes. You're a business. Just like everybody else, you're in the business of belief. Pay your taxes. I don't know why Exxon, the Nazi Germany of the world in energy, why aren't they paying taxes? Jesus Christ, they should be paying taxes and penalized for the last 40 years. So yes, Chris Cuomo, when Bernie says he's going to tax the wealthy, Yes, that includes you. That includes every one of you fuckers that has been leeching off us and telling us we're the welfare. Fuck you.
Not only that.
This is where the money comes from. You hold all the money and the power. We're taking some of it back. We're rebalancing the scales. That's all that's happening. So anybody who doesn't understand that probably works for the establishment or is stupid, stinking rich and greedy. That's all that's going on here, folks. We're taking back what's ours. Ours. It didn't belong to them in the first place. What do you want to say, Lou?
Well, it's not only that. It's a GOP attack coming from, again, a Democrat, and that's what it is. You know, they want to bring up the fact that, yes, Bernie Sanders' proposals to make us in line with the rest of the world and guaranteeing health care as a right is going to mean a small percentage increase. And that does mean a tax increase. But when you look at the tax increase, and then you say, okay, but I don't have to pay into my private health insurance. I don't have to
Right.
pay the $20, $25, $30 deductible to bring
Right.
my child to the doctor. I don't have to pay for the prescriptions anymore. It is
Right.
actually saving us, but they never want to actually say that in mainstream media for you folks. They always want to say that he's raising taxes on you, but will not tell you how
Right.
much we are ending up saving at the end of the day for that small percentage up.
Yeah.
Now, quite frankly, to the rich 1%, and let's be honest, I don't know anybody that's in middle class that's making 250 grand, but to those top levels, you're not going to be taxed at a higher rate than you've ever been taxed before. You, historically, in America, have had a high tax rate of almost 90%, and Bernie's not even getting close to that. So what? You're going to have to pay a little bit more. I'm sorry, but some of you know exactly how to spin your money through the doors. That's what you have accountants and lawyers for, to make sure you're paying less than I pay.
Exactly. And Ed Williams sums it up very eloquently. Which is worse, a $200 tax increase or paying $400 to insurance? Right?
Yeah, that translates to a net $200 win in your pocket.
Right.
Mr. and Mrs., individual taxpayer.
Right. All of these things. It's actually what you just said, Lou, comes back to the fact that this is not a yes or no. This is not an on-off. This is not a simple thing, folks. That's why we have varying tax brackets for varying. We have to look at this as more than just a blanket statement. Everybody's going to get their taxes raised. No, it doesn't work that way. Dumb mainstream media and the American public is not that stupid. You don't need to simplify it. You don't need to oversimplify it to misconstrue what Bernie says, which is exactly what you do when you say, so you're going to raise taxes? Yeah. So we're going to pay more for health care now. No, that's called an oversimplification, an ignorant oversimplification for the sole purpose of misleading the public. And you're allowed to do this because there's no law anymore, thank you, Ronald Reagan, preventing you from saying this kind of shit.
I can spin this in a really positive way.
Go for it.
Okay.
Spin it different.
So here's one of the really best things that could possibly happen by having a single payer and we're all on Medicare. And that is the elimination of the management chain within pretty much 4 or 5 huge, massive health insurance corporations who basically get 20% of anything that they collect is what goes into bonuses and stock options of basically a handful of people. They will not be reaping those millions and millions of dollars out of your pockets anymore for what is nothing less than illness maintenance and not health care. The billionaires of those companies won't be reaping billions off of you anymore. How much better does it get than that?
Right. You
get health care.
Yep, you get health care. And listen, my ex-wife, too, Karen, long story, she lives in Germany. She's lived in Germany for several years, many years now. I have not once, heard her email me or had her email me or call me and say, oh my gosh, the healthcare over here is terrible. I really wish I had American healthcare right now. You know what she tells me? You wish you were here, John. You really do. What an amazing country. What a beautiful place. Now, granted, Germany's got some weird crap going on with their internet. You guys, I don't know, you've got the establishment over there really trying to stifle internet freedom because you're the only country that you block our videos every time. Every time we do a video, Germany blocks it. I don't know why. So probably Germany has no idea what's going on with Bernie, at least through our channel anyway. But my ex-wife...
They don't like our use of the word fuck.
Well, probably. It could be that, whatever. Do we need to pronounce it in German? Here's the thing. She has had nothing but good to say about living in Germany, about wages, about work, about life, about healthcare, about all of it. We know this, folks. We know the truth here. We know the reality here. So let's move on from that because let's just talk about some other things. So Hillary, with people like Rahm Emanuel working for her, tied to the prison lobby, tied to corrupt dealings, Laquan McDonald, just horrific corruption all around. Okay. And then on the other side of the world, we have Noam Chomsky. And I'm not going to say the word endorse because I don't think he actually can endorse, but he says that so he says he's a professor emeritus at MIT. Hey, Noam, I'm trying to get you my engagement broadcasting papers. A friend of mine dropped them off at MIT. Maybe you can pick them up. Chomsky said, if Sanders were elected, I think he would, of the current candidates. I think he'd be the one who would have, from my point of view, the best policies. Okay. Separating Sanders apart and above the rest, Chomsky said that Sanders was basically a new dealer when compared to the usual contenders. Chomsky continued, however, saying that, I agree with him in a lot of things, not in other things. So, I frankly think that in our system of mainly bought elections, he doesn't have much of a chance. And that's the piece that really pisses me off. Because what that tells me, and what that tells everybody out there in 99, is that Noam Chomsky doesn't think the 99 have a chance. That is what he says when he says that Bernie doesn't have a chance, because our election system is so purchased. He's saying that we the people, we are Bernie, we, the 99, that we are not capable of getting Bernie in office. And I challenge all of you right now to prove Noam Chomsky wrong. Send him a note, a kind note. I don't want to blast Noam with a bunch of screw yous. I want to send him a note. We know you're worried. We'll take care of it. We got his back. We will elect Bernie Sanders one way or another. He will be the president of the United States because the people will not stand for an establishment-run government. And that is really the bottom line here, folks. I won't speak to violence. I won't even speak to revolution. I'm just going to say that the American people will not stand for an establishment government for another 4 years. So it will come down to Bernie in office, or something's going to happen. Something beyond what's already unprecedented in this country. What that something is be up to the 99%. But the choice for corporations, the choice for the rest of the establishment right now is to either do this peaceably, do this the right way, or face the wrath of the 99%, which will not rely on the election process if Bernie is not elected. Does that make sense? Is that clear? That's what's going to go on here. So Noam, I disagree with you, and I'm a little disappointed that you would just make that statement and not offer encouragement to the 99%. I realize you're a realist and a pragmatist or whatever, but we are going to defeat the establishment because the 99 are very capable of putting who they want in office above greedy rich assholes. We are very capable of doing that, and we will do that again. We will do that again. We did that in the early 1900s. We have done this before. We will do this again, folks. We just face different challenges. Different challenges. So I turn away from this article to look at chat conversation, and this is the first thing I read from Jay LeBlanc. ADHD is normal, not a disability. It's evolution. I actually agree with that. I'm not sure why we're talking about ADHD. Am I running all over the place with topics, or are we talking about something different? But I agree with you. It's perfectly normal. It's the evolution of brains being able to assimilate much more information more quickly than older folks, I guess. That's where I would go with that. Maybe that's wrong. Lou, Celeste, you guys have any comments on that? I'm going to go one more article. We're going to get out of here.
No, I'm good.
I was like, once you said that, I kind of jumped in and tried to watch what. I was like, what did they say? Because still, I'm getting used to watching it both at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Here's what we'll do. We were going to talk about this. Here's the attack ad
Speaking of
on Bernie Sanders.
ADHD.
Yeah? What? Oh.
I was saying, Lou's comment about trying to watch both things. It's like, yeah, let's talk about ADHD.
Yes, absolutely. I had mentioned at the beginning of the show that we were going to play, or we were going to talk about it. Maybe it's in the rundown. There's an attack ad. This is awesome. This is an attack ad, a super PAC founded by the former TD Ameritrade executive Joe Ricketts, and this is the story you were talking about, Lou, right? That you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, actually, hey, thank you, Dollar Store Lex Luthor. Thank you. Here in Nebraska and Iowa and a couple other states, we know the Ricketts name, and we know that they run a super PAC. Usually, Wisconsin got to meet this super PAC when they were supporting Scott Walker up there. But he has decided through the super PAC, Mr. Ricketts, to use some money and throw out a campaign ad against Bernie Sanders in Iowa. The funny thing about it is it's actually about as pro-Bernie Sanders as it can be. It's really no surprise to anybody, though, that Mr. Ricketts and the Ricketts family do not like Bernie's too liberal ideas when it comes to healthcare, because Ameritrade and some of their other businesses would be directly impacted by his policies. So, once again, Pete, you and your dad did a great job. Thank you very much for this fine ad that actually shows why America should be looking at reawakening the dream and saying healthcare is a right for all.
That beautiful setup. And here's that ad. Here's the ad, folks. Maybe. There we go.
Senator Bernie Sanders has some very big plans. Bernie wants to provide free college for our young people. No tuition, completely free. Now Bernie's doubling down with Medicare for all, which is basically single-payer, government-sponsored health care. No big insurance companies, just more government spending, paid for by raising taxes on Wall Street, big business, and the super rich. Senator Bernie Sanders, too liberal for Iowa. ESA Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Isn't that awesome? That's Lou, do me a favor here. Lou?
Yes, sir.
Do me a favor here. Carry the conversation for 2 minutes. I actually have to go answer my door. 1 second. Talk about that ad, though. That was fantastic. That's a beautiful ad for Bernie, don't you think?
Actually, I think it's great, and it's I'm going to jump over here and look at what you guys are saying. Too liberal for Iowa. Too liberal. I thought he was establishment. Yeah, that's a very questionable thing. But you look at simple things about what we're facing. And when I say I'm talking about us, because Bernie Sanders says it himself. This isn't about him. This isn't about Hillary Clinton. This isn't about Donald Trump. This is about us. Now, are we really going to say that we can only go for the low-hanging fruit? Or are we going to actually say we're reaching for the stars again? Are we going to say that we are rebuilding an American dream? Are we saying we're okay with the crumbs that are left at the bottom of the table? We're working. And things like this, we turn around to work for us. So, Dollar Store Lex Luthor, just personal level, dude, I don't know what your problem is, why you want to kill somebody. If people want to look into that, it has to do with in Nebraska. We decided to go against the death penalty, and the same man that just provided that ad in Iowa also provided hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to reinstate the death penalty in my state. So, Celeste? It doesn't work like that. Oh, hi, John.
Yeah. Without the magician behind the screen, it's just going to be you, and I can be the disembodied voice of the of the
Well, we're back,
that's
so it's
okay.
okay.
Oz.
I
Yes.
just was sorry.
I think we got a delay going on, folks. But thank you for filling in the space, both of you guys. I just had to run off and talk to the guy who's walking my doggy, Jerry. Thank you for that ad, as you said. We're gonna talk about one more thing. Flint. Remember Flint, Michigan, guys? Flint hasn't stopped. Flint's the same. Our government really hasn't done anything sweeping to fix Flint, to do anything about it. The criminal, Rick Snyder, is still there, still in power, hired a PR firm to help deal with himself. But this is yet another blow to the people of Flint. This is just absolute bullshit. I don't even know. This is Flint trying to force people to pay their water bills. Just shut off the water there. You're trying to pay. You're trying to force people to pay for poison, Flint. This is complete government breakdown. Complete retarded government breakdown, 100%. When you are trying to charge people for poison, you are sending them a bill for poison. That doesn't happen. That should not happen. You know who should be paying this bill? Rick Snyder. All of them. And if he can't afford it, it should come out of the federal government. Be paying that bill. None of these people in Flint should be paying a bill, folks. I don't know where the electric company, any of these utilities get off charging these people. Sorry, electric company, where the water company gets off charging these people. You failed to deliver water. You delivered poison. Does it say poison on the bill? Does it say 500 gallons grade A lead-filled water to murder your children with? Please pay us now? I don't understand how you could even do this. It's bullshit, Rick. It's bullshit. Water company of Flint, Michigan, or Detroit, or whoever the hell is trying to enforce the bill. Obama, pick up the bill. Take care of this shit. These people, all of their bills should be paid for, and they're doing this crap to people who have children. That's the other thing. We saw a tweet from Aaron Brockovich the other day about this, basically saying that if this is true, that they're going to people's houses and saying, if you don't pay your water bill for this poison, we're going to take your kids away, because Child and Family Services is going to say you can't have kids in a home that doesn't have water. Well, you know what, Child and Family Service morons? None of those children should be in any of those homes or that town, because an entire town is toxic. It has lead-filled water. So why don't you take all of the whole families out of there and give them real good places to live? But don't penalize the mothers. Don't penalize the families. Don't penalize the working people of Flint, because you, government, failed to do your jobs. And here we are again, where I go, why have we not arrested these people? Why have we not put them in prison at least? Why have we not brought them to some kind of justice? Why are they still running the government there? I don't understand. It's wrong. It's horribly wrong. It's absolutely disgusting. And people like Ted Cruz are trying to capitalize on this shit. He is giving away water, but he's doing it so that he can talk to abortion people, push his anti-abortion message. It's very similar to the Catholic Church saying they're going to do missionary work, or other religions going to do missionary work, but while they're doing it, we're going to shove our belief up your ass for water, or for food, or for whatever. You're going to be indoctrinated into our belief system. That's the trade-off for us helping save your lives. And this is what Cruz is doing here, saying, I'm going to force my bullshit on you, but I'm going to give you water. I don't get it. It's abhorrent. It's disgusting. It's wrong. And it looks like Cruz is probably going to be the Republican clown. He's going to be the Republican guy that we're going to have to go against. It won't be Trump. There's no way. Excuse me, folks. I coughed there for a second. I should have left you with a picture of Ted, but that's worse. That guy. It's just horrific. Last comments, thoughts, anybody in the audience? Anybody? We are trying, John, but the Republican people, yes. I know, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. It's been a long day. Oh, one quick thing, Celeste. You were talking earlier about Trump, and I just want to remind everybody that an article just came out about the fact that Trump's dad was an arrested KKK member, and there's actually an article about that. Asshole bred an asshole right there, and that's it. Yeah, I just.
Well, it gives you it certainly gives you background into the environment and the mentality of the people he was raised around, their thoughts on the lessers of society of that day, if you will. So again, it indicates very clearly what his real beliefs are, and they're coming out publicly. They're coming out publicly.
That they are.
Wasn't it Woody Guthrie that they're talking about?
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. It
No,
was Woody Guthrie who wrote a bunch of lyrics and wrote some letters about his racist landlord, and it ended up being Donald Trump's father.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
I got that the other day.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree in a lot of these situations, as we see with things like the Trump family, the Ricketts family, the other family. That's all I'll say.
Well, you're bringing up an interesting point that people don't really stop to take into consideration. We have 50 states. Each of our states are occupied by a variety of incredibly rich people who use that influence to influence what's going on at the state level. And now that they've been completely unrestrained from going cross-border with their donations, it becomes even worse, and the oligarchy continues to entrench itself because they're now supporting each other's little fiefdoms within the states.
Yep.
Yeah.
Preach it, please, Celeste. Preach it.
Okay,
exactly.
I'll take it even one step further.
All right,
so
let's
talk about what they want to do with government. We can go back to Reagan. Reagan's big argument, besides the welfare queen and all the other coded racial crap, was also that government is your problem. Well, the self-fulfilling prophecy is that because we've had Democrats sell out to the Republican agenda and, further ensconced by the third way politicians, government no longer functions for the masses, it functions for the few. And it's also being done tax deductibly. The Kochs have set up their network, and all of their organizations are tax-deductible organizations. So while these rich people are undermining the democracy, they're doing it tax-free.
Yep, there
in
you go.
In addition to hiding their shit offshore. So
Yeah. Go ahead. No, finish up.
No, I'm good. Y'all can jump off on that. That was a mouthful.
No, but that just makes you even madder. Not only are they, the money that they make, folks, the ridiculous sums of money that they make off your labor, off your effort, right? That money gets hidden away in the Cayman Islands. That money gets hidden away. That money goes elsewhere. That money that we don't know. We have no idea the sums of money these people have. Ridiculous sums of money. We don't know why. It's just greed, folks. It's just ridiculous greed, and we are fighting to usher in a new era of people that give a shit about each other, of people that care about each other. Doesn't matter if you're purple or green or gay or straight, white, black, woman, man, in between. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't. What matters is that we are on this planet together, and this planet is dying. And we need to work together now to either resolve this issue as a species or fail. And we're right on that borderline right now between failing heinously as a species and getting our shit together and fixing this rock. The establishment is not going to fix this rock. The establishment is too short-sighted. The establishment has one goal, and that is greed. They just aren't intelligent enough to really grasp that their children are going to be dead before they should be, because this rock will not support human life soon. In my lifetime, I will not want to live on this planet. In my lifetime, this planet will become uncomfortable for me to live on. That is a fact. And it pisses me off because I don't want to be 80 and going, shit, it's hot, or 80 and I don't have water. All right? We have to change this country now, folks. Now. The establishment will not do it. What do you want to end with, Celeste? Look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and just simply say that, what do the rich know that the rest of us don't know when they're actively out there buying up the world's water resources for private ownership?
Yep.
It's if you start to pay attention what they're invested in, what they're doing, it really does kind of paint a very bleak picture for those of us down here at the bottom. And we've got to do something to turn that around. And the only thing we can do is bring information and attention to these issues to people and start having the tough conversations about how do we deal with a group of people who will never have enough, even when they have it all.
Yep. Well, and that's what we have Bernie for. But you're right. That's the fight. That is the fight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Celeste, for that. Looking at comments, I know everybody's leaving. Steph, great little quote there. I don't care if you're black, white, straight, bisexual, gay, lesbian, short, tall, fat, skinny, rich, or poor. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Simple as that. Which really comes back to an ancient, it's the golden rule, folks. Do unto others. And the one belief that I don't slam Judaism, because there was a rabbi that said this once, and I love this statement. He said, everything you read in the Torah and all these religious books, all that stuff, we can push it all aside. It all comes down to one thing, and that's the golden rule. That's it. That's life. Do unto others. That's it. We're going to go out here with Baby Got Pax. Sir Banks-a-Lot. Now that's what I call democracy. This is AJ Plus, and I love this. And why we're going out with this is because it talks about the problem. It talks about the problem of money. Big, big money in our political system, and that is what we have to remove. Thank you all for joining us today. I know we ran this long. I know we started later. You guys are awesome. Cynical Girl, Brad Crux, I can't pronounce your name, B.E. Phillips, Joseph Suzuki, D.L. Freighter, Watcher. Thank you, guys. Oh, and phone banking. Phone banking is still absolutely what we need to do. Go to the Bernie 2016 TV website, Bernie2016.tv. That domain will always land you on our new channel, wherever that happens to be. On there is the phone bank video. Watch that phone bank video. Do that phone banking. That is what we need. We cannot stop. We must not stop if we are going to take back our country, if we are going to make this a good place to live, if we're going to fix this rock before we all die. We cannot stop. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for feeling the burn. We are Bernie. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow and keep checking back on our channel for upcoming shows. We are always trying to get Bernie.
There you go. That's right. Later today, we're supposed to be somewhere with him. I have no idea where, folks, but somewhere, and we'll figure that out.
And we have We the People coming up Thursday evening.
Not sure yet. We haven't confirmed. Okay, we haven't confirmed. It's really difficult right now because Nina Turner is very, very busy, and we were supposed to have Nina Turner this Thursday, but we have not confirmed that because so much is exploding right now in the Sanders campaign. I mean, if you realize that what's happened right now is that this very small group of campaign people, and they are a very, very small group of campaign people, Bernie's just exploded onto the national scene. So they are swamped. They are absolutely swamped trying to deal with everything. So we are trying to book Nina. She has confirmed that she will be on the show, but we obviously, what we do here and this stuff, this is not what's important. What's important is getting Bernie Sanders elected, and so Nina Turner needs to be 100% focused on that, and we don't want to distract from that or take her away from that at all by trying to force her to come on a show at a particular time. So we're trying to make that work out. She's really busy, but we will have her on the show. So we'll let you know what's happening. If we don't do that, Janine has said that what we're going to do is live phone banking. We're going to go on and we're going to do live phone banking, and we've got somebody who's said that they will donate $1 for every person. Somebody said they will donate $10 for every person, right, Lou? It was yesterday. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and I've even jumped in and said that I'll participate, and I know I should have had that done by now, but I'm so shy.
It's all right. I get it. I don't want to do it. I do this. I stand in front of a camera on here, and I've got this apprehension about the phone banking thing too, because it feels like cold calling to me, and that reminds me of sales. But I'm passionate about this. I want to do this, right? So I'm right in the same boat. We will talk to you tomorrow. I don't think Bernie's doing any surprise broadcasts at 9 a.m. Pacific, so we should be on normal time, folks. Thank you for joining us for the Real Newsroom. Please share this. Please spread it around. We are being blocked and harassed by mainstream media constantly. We need to spread the word and share this as much as possible. Thank you all. We are Bernie.
Catch you on social media. Thank you.
I like super PACs and I cannot lie. Other candidates can't deny. When a guy walks in with a billionaire taste and a checkbook in your face, you get funds. Wanna take big checks, but you know that's not allowed. No more than 2,700. How can I get around it? I wondered, oh baby. That's why I'm excited about Citizens United. So listen to my story. Why super PAC
make me so happy.
Ooh, corporations, you wanna make a donation? Well, bring it, cause you know there ain't no limit. But make the illusion, there ain't no collusion. PACs are dark, smart, we candidates do business apart. I'm tired of the FEC saying regulations are the thing. Take the average candidate and ask him that. We love super PACs, so candidates, pretend you don't have a hand in it. And donate to my PAC. Baby got PACs. Baby got PACs. We're talking about super PACs, which are a little bit more shady than regular PACs, but we're calling them PACs in this rap, for rhythmic purposes. I like them anonymous and big. Anyone can have a PAC. There's one for Romney. There's even one for zombies. So what do? Pay for ads, so many ads. Paul Rubio, Bush, and Cruz. Super PACs run ads so they don't lose. I want them helping my campaign, but our super PACs legal. Many American people think they seem a bit evil, cause there are some loopholes. Getting cash from groups that don't disclose who their donors are, yo. So sometimes nobody knows. Hillary put super PACs in her artillery. She turned around, looked away. Priorities USA, baby got PACs. Baby got PACs. Yeah, baby. When it comes to naming super PACs, make sure you make them sound real patriotic and wordy. Working for working Americans, pursuing America's greatness, Americans for America. Oh, and there's keep the promise 1, 2, and 3. But what about Obama? Does he play into PAC drama? Sure does. Without that money, he would have been a goner. But Bernie Sanders don't want none, not even from unions. He thinks that they are shady. He don't want none of that. Some candidates want to play old school and say that money ain't cool. So they protest in objection. But can they win the election? So candidates, just remember, if you want to win next November, just get yourself some super PACs.
But don't forget, you may be tied to some special interests who might just try to exert their influence over you now that you're president.
Baby got PACs.
Huge.